Losing a daughter, it was devastating because my husband died when he was 33 and I was 29. And my daughter died when she was 34. So at that time, we are thinking, oh, what is it? Is this chains which needs to be broken?
Today you are here for a very specific reason.
Yeah.
And we are taking a different approach. We have these amazing guests that we have. And you happen to have a relationship with these guests. What's your relationship with our guest today?
She's my mom.
She's your mom.
Yeah.
Okay, in Africa, oftentimes you grow up and people ask you, what's your mom's real name? You're like, I don't know, she's just Mama this. So what's your mom's name? Mama what?
Well, to me and to many, Mother Dearest.
Mother Dearest, okay?
Or Mother G.
Mother G, okay,
My Gumbo.
Oh.
She is, but I think with everybody, it's mom.
It's mom.
Whether it be colleagues, sometimes there's one of my colleagues, I absolutely adore him, but we always say he's mom's adopted son and he's her favorite.
Oh.
Because she is mom.
She's mom.
Whenever you think of what a mother is, somebody that's warm, loving,
Okay.
and just always just there.
There, okay.
That's her.
Okay.
And she never wavers. There's never a time where, no matter how challenging life has been, she has wavered.
She has wavered.
She's always been consistent.
So quickly tell me about this. When I saw your mom, who people don't know about yet, she comes across as this very soft woman. She almost whispers. And she seems like very calm. Is that just a facade, or behind it is a fiery woman who everybody scatters away from?
There's an element of both.
Okay.
I think as she's gotten older, we tease her about this quite a lot. As she's gotten older, her voice has become meaker. But don't get it wrong.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
the lioness still roars.
Okay.
But it's I think again it comes with age and with wisdom.
With wisdom.
She has the ability to take charge of a room by how she speaks. So when she needs to be soft, she will be soft. When she needs to be stern and be boss lady, she will be boss lady, and you will hear the sudden switch. Or there are times where we laugh and we tease her about this. When you see her taking her glasses off, yeah.
She's
yeah.
And now, in terms of, if we're going to do like a 30-second biography, can you kind of give me a sweep of this lady? Because today I want to kind of have an entire conversation about loss, about memory, about home, about belonging or unbelonging.
Yeah.
So what are the various touch points you think that if I don't get this out of mom, I would have failed?
She's an open book.
Okay.
No questions are ever too hard.
Okay.
Mom takes pride in sharing her story because her story, I don't think she's never voiced it, but this is the impression that I've gotten in the 32 years. It's if I share my story, it's going to help somebody.
Okay.
And this is something she has passed on to my siblings and I and to friends and everybody alike. Everybody has a story to tell. You do not know who your story is going to help.
Okay.
And it's important to share.
To
So you can talk to her about loss. You can talk to her about wanting to help people. This is not just, I think when people see us now, apart from maybe immediate family, they think, oh, she's only just started helping. But no, mom has been a giver of time, efforts, money, patience, you name it, her door is always open.
You know what? Thank you so much. So we're going to go ahead and we'll invite your mom and then we'll see what we have. And then hopefully when you see it, the person you have been raised by for 32 years the world will get to see it. And more importantly, thank you for sharing your mom with the world.
You're welcome.
Really good one. Thank you. Good day. Today I'm here with Miss Enet. I'm not going to take the risk of pronouncing your last name. Okay.
Hodgkins. Hodgkins.
Hodgkins.
Yes.
Okay. What is in the name? Tell me. I need to know what the genesis of these two names are.
You'd find a Hodgkins, which I use now, and it's a surname which I started using in the UK from 2001 when I got married in the
Okay.
UK. But because of for most of all my paperwork, it's under that name. So I continued using it, although I separated from my husband.
Okay.
Yes. But otherwise, you'd find most people, they know me as my Gumbo or Mrs. Gumbo, because
Okay.
that's my late husband's name.
Okay.
Yes.
You know what? I sense a touch of accent, right? So you talked about Zimbabwe, you talked about UK. Can you tell me what these two countries have done in your life? I mean, you're born in Zimbabwe. How long do you stay in Zimbabwe before you move?
Oh, I stayed in Zimbabwe until 2000 when I moved to the UK when I was, let's say, how old? 63. I moved 2000. That's how many years now? 37, 37, 38. Yeah, that's
Wow.
when I moved to the UK.
So you're not going to the UK as a young lady who is just starting her life?
No, I went there with 3 children. That's when I went to the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, I was already, although I was already a single parent anyway, that time, because my husband died when I was 29 years old. I was pregnant, 3 months pregnant to my daughter, who is 32 now.
Pregnant.
Yes, Daniela.
Oh.
Yes.
When your first
When my
husband
husband died, yeah,
Okay.
93.
Oh, he dies in 93.
Yeah, he died in 93 when he was working for Financial Cassette.
And what are your memories of him, with him, as a wife, as somebody who will end up, having children with him? Do you remember him as somebody who
Yeah,
made you see the world slightly
my
different?
husband he was a very loving husband. He was very romantic, which I don't find in these, as much as we didn't have, mobile phones that time.
Okay.
But you'd find he would surprise me with things like just coming from the industry, because the Unilever was in the industry and I was in the city, in town. He would surprise me, come take me out for lunch. As much as we were coming from the same house in the morning, he would surprise me. And I've always been telling, my children that, I don't know, even my late daughter used to tell them, and, they would say, oh, mom. And I said, oh, me, I don't remember not even a single day when your father was alive, when we were together in the same house, we don't bath together.
Are you serious?
Things like that. And I would say, we had, workers. I had a maid, I had a garden boy, and weekends they would go off. And I remember, and I always tell them, my husband, when I grew up, my family, my father used to look after a lot of people. So when they make eggs, they would make scrambled egg with tomatoes and onions and spinach in it, so that everybody, it's
so
enough for
add the
every.
volume.
Yes.
Okay.
And I said, but I learned about the sunside egg, the slide tomatoes, slide onions from my husband, because that's what he used to make for me for
Wait,
breakfast.
you are okay. We context is important.
Yes.
Because we are living in a time when to be a man you're served, and you are the patriarch, and you are the whenever you think of older African men, there are two things that you don't put together: romance and cooking.
Yeah.
But your husband is cooking breakfast for you.
Yeah, he used to I actually learned it from him because that's what he used to cook for me.
And what was his name for you?
My
Your husband.
husband.
Yeah, what does he wake up calling you? Darling, or is mama?
Oh, darling. Yeah.
Wow, so you remained his girlfriend throughout
Yes.
and he treated you as such?
Yes. It's only, here and there, maybe when people are around and you would call him, maybe you would use my first name. Yeah. And sometimes here and there when people are around, maybe that's when you'd be calling me my Heather, like Heather's mom. That was my firstborn. Yes.
You know what? When you are talking about your husband, there's a glow to your face. Now, take me to 93 when you hear the news that that partnership is over, your husband has passed away. What does that do to a woman who at the time there is a pregnancy, but is also has known her life in relation to this man? What does that do to you at the time when you hear this news?
It was devastating. And, it's like when because he died when I was there anyway. And you'll be thinking, but he was very ill to the extent that at that time I was even praying to say, Lord, let him rest.
Okay.
So, yes, it happened. And you're saying, yes, Lord, he has rested now. But it was devastating. And it's a time when I thought maybe I would never remarry again. Although I did remarry, but at that time, I just said to myself, I'll never remarry. Although my mother-in-law, she was very nice. She was a very good woman, very prayerful. And she would say, she would always tell me, oh, you are still very young. You can still marry. She always used to say this to me.
Now, in Africa, grief can be very public. Right?
Yes.
There are people who come, they are there, you're visiting, they are cooking for you, they are hugging you.
Yeah.
But then life goes on. Can you kind of tell me what for you it was like after all the noise has gone and now life has to go back?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that loneliness or aloneness? Or is it that your kids, you still have the business of living, so you cannot sit down and be moping and be sad?
Yeah. I think in Africa, the thing is you'd find when things like that happen, sometimes it becomes so difficult because even those people, who were very close, couples who are very close to you, people, they start, they now keep their distance from you because they now see you as a single parent.
Okay.
You are single and they feel, oh, as we are married, and maybe they are now thinking, maybe are you going to get closer to their husbands?
Oh.
And even, you'd find even some family, like cousins, they start distancing themselves because I remember I had one of my cousin, I was very close to her, and the husband felt, oh, because you are single, maybe you are now going to be going out with other men, so you are going to teach my wife, things like that. He even said it himself.
And these are people who
Yes.
were your family, essentially.
Yes, who are very close to you. So people, they tend, to distance themselves. Although you'd find my siblings from my mom and my dad, they would continue, supporting you, being there for you. But because, my husband was only 33, but by then we had already, had a house, a massive house. We had cars. We had a good life, good jobs, everything. So you'd find, obviously, some of the siblings will be thinking, oh, so maybe it's you who have caused the death, or because you want to take over, everything, you want to take over the house, you want to do this. And I'm thinking, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't want to be on your own in this massive house. You wouldn't want to So it's all those things. Then you'd find as time goes on, maybe like for my on my part, you'd find even some of my husband's family, they stopped talking to me. But you'd find my mother-in-law, she continued, standing by me, despite that.
And are they not talking to you because they are angry with the death of their son and this is their
Yes.
way of mourning, or
Yeah.
they are seeing you now as somebody who has stopped them gaining maybe status, income, money from their brother?
No, he wasn't giving them income because my husband was number 10. There were 11 of them, and he was number 10. So he was right at the bottom. But some of them, it was more of, because you'd find it within the family. My mother-in-law, she was Seventh Day, so she never believed in all these African, things. She was not into the African culture anyway. She just believed in God, and that's it. That was her. But you'd find, when children, they grow up, as much as you might bring them up in whatever religion you like, but when they grow up, they've got a choice. So some of them, they were now doing, or they would say, oh, eh, we know it's not natural death. It's her who has caused it. And I remember very well, when my husband was really, when, his last days, when he called his siblings and he told them, if I die, I don't want anybody, anyone, any one of you, to say anything bad about my wife. He even told them. But, people are people. They'll still, do whatever, and say whatever they want to say and do whatever they want to do. So you'd find, so when he died, I did spend some years again with some of my husband's siblings who were no more talking to me. Although some they still stood.
Some stopped talking to you.
Some stopped talking to me, but some they still stood by me. They'll still, call me. They'll still, stand by me, including my mother-in-law. She still stood by me. Yeah. She didn't have anything against me.
How does a woman who loses her husband, who she clearly loves and adores dearly, who is now starting to learn how to make sense of this new world order in her life, how does she pick up those pieces, start rebuilding, and tell a different story so many years later? How are you able to find a new you within all that emotional chaos and grief?
I still hate my mother-in-law, and my mom was still alive. She was there, and also my siblings, from my mom and my dad. My own siblings, they were there, and they still had my back anyway. So you'd find they'll still visit, they'll still make sure, they would uplift me, which was a good thing. So I think that kept me going. And as time goes on, you still, you'd find, I still also had my nephews and also my nieces from my husband's side who were very supportive.
Okay, so in spite of the loss, there is still this tribe.
Oh, yeah.
We can often, there is an attractiveness to focusing on the negative, but you still had this
Yes. From my
choir
husband's side as well, yes.
singing. And then, if we then transition, do you think there is a part of you in moving with 3 children, transporting yourself to another country at that time? Is it because for you Zimbabwe becomes tainted with the loss, and therefore going to UK is a form of finding a new self, or an opportunity emerges?
No, it wasn't about the loss, moving myself from Zimbabwe to the UK. I had a good job in Zimbabwe and with a very good package. So what I did is I supported all my siblings to go to the UK. And my daughter, at that time, she was doing her GCSE. So I thought, okay, let me just take her to the UK and I'll go back to Zimbabwe. So I took some time off from my workplace. And when I was resigning, they said no. They were happy for me to go maybe even for 6 months and come back.
Wow.
But when I now went to the UK, things were then the economy just started.
Is this when we are talking about the inflation?
Yes, and everything. Things just started changing. And my mom, I was always, on the phone with my mom. So my mom was just saying, oh, things have changed a lot. Things have changed a lot. I think maybe you better stay. So that's why I ended up staying in the UK.
So it's not that you were abandoning Zimbabwe and going, it was a temporary thing.
Yes.
And this is a theme that we'll revisit on how you tend to go to places temporarily and then they become new homes,
Yes,
right? We are going to
yes,
talk about that
yes, yeah.
in relation to where we are now.
Yeah.
Now, not to dwell on the issue of loss. So you have lost a husband who, I can't insist from your face, from your expressions, he
Yeah.
means something. But then you lose a daughter. Can you speak to me about that?
Yeah, losing a daughter, it was devastating. And you know, the thing is, you'd find for me, I just thought, oh, because my husband died when he was 33, and my daughter
Wait,
died when
your husband died when he was
33, and I was 29. And my daughter died when she was 34. So at that time, we are thinking, oh, what is it? Is this chains which needs to be broken? What is it? And you know, sometimes we always say we should not compare, but sometimes you always ask the Lord, why me? You're saying, oh, I lost a husband when I was young. I thought, okay, I've got my children. I never expected that I would bury my daughter. You would expect your daughter, because they always say, you expect your children to bury you. And now my daughter is gone again at 33. And I'm thinking, Lord, why? Why me? As much as, people, because sometimes, when people say these things, it's easy to say it, to say, oh, you should not ask, oh, always, in the Bible, it says we should be prepared and anytime. But it's not that easy when it's happening, within you. It's not easy. And my daughter, you'd find we were together on the Friday. We were supposed to pick her up on this Saturday morning to go for a church function. And next thing, we left about 11:15 in the evening. And we went home. We were supposed to go together. And then she said, oh, my son is, is sleeping now. So let me just sleep here. I don't want to disturb him. You pick me up in the morning. So I said, okay, that's fine. Now, next thing in the morning, you go there. She's on the floor.
You found
You
your
call
daughter.
the ambulance, and they're telling you she's gone.
You found her.
Yes. I went with my daughter.
You had a younger daughter. How old is the younger daughter who?
Daniela, this one.
Uh-huh.
How old were you? How old were you, Dani, that time? How old was she? 8 years ago. She was 24.
So you go with your daughter to pick your daughter.
Yes.
Only to find your daughter.
And we find my daughter on the floor.
And she has a child at the time.
She had two sons. The other son is even playing games downstairs. The youngest one was only 1 year, 8 months. She's the one with mom. And he's on the bed. And when we got there, he was actually getting onto the bed. And I was even calling my daughter, my Daniela, saying, oh, Ah, my Ryan can get on and off the bed. Look at him. Little Dino, he's climbing on the body of the mom when he's getting onto the bed.
And these details might seem insignificant, but what year is this?
2018.
The reason I'm asking this is when I was contacting you on WhatsApp, there's this beautiful lady on your DP.
Yeah.
And when I asked you, who is this? Say, oh, that's my late daughter.
Yes.
Why does a mother so many years later still have her daughter on her DP?
Yeah. I think now it's better because you'd find it was very difficult for me. And since her death, I've never removed her picture from my. I've never put anything else. Even my other children, I can just put them on story, on my status, but my daughter, I've never removed her there because I always think maybe that's the only way I would say I've got her, and that's
She's
why I
still
keep her
yours.
there.
No, ma'am, what does losing a daughter do to a mother?
Oh, I tell you, it's you get broken. I think it's a void which can be filled. No one can fill that void. It will always be there. When you have, I always say, when you have a wound,
Yes.
it's like a wound, a a burn wound, where you continue having this scar, and this scar will never go. And sometimes you find it's itchy, and you just but God has got His own way of giving you that peace. For years, I didn't have the peace. But there was one day when I went for a church conference. And when I went for that church conference, I saw an eagle, there was a black cloud which came, a black cloud in the sky, and I saw an eagle, it was facing, down. And I saw it first, no, before that, let's take back. Before that, people were singing praise and worship. I could hear my daughter singing so loud in my ears.
She was drowning the other voices, and you could just hear
I
her
could hear your voice.
with clarity.
Yes, singing the same praise and worship which we were singing. Oh, I cried that day. So, one who is also a very close friend of mine, whom I said she's Ghanaian, she lives here. Most of the time now, she's a pastor. She came, they all came, they started praying. Then I said, oh, I can hear her singing. So the people started praying and praying, Then we had a break. So when we came back from that break, we were again, praying. Then I saw a black cloud. And in that black cloud, I saw an eagle facing, down. And I saw on the forehead of the eagle, it was written peace. Then I heard, from today, I've given you peace.
Okay.
When that happened, that's when I had peace of my daughter passing. Because I still, all for years, I still had this question, why? Why?
So
Yeah.
you felt like something has settled now.
Yes.
Okay, I might still be sorrowful. I might still, but now I am accepting and I'm at peace.
Yes.
Now, Ma, I have to ask this. You have lost a daughter.
Yeah.
But she was a sister. They have also lost a sister. You also have children who have lost a sister.
Yeah.
Do you think there was fear then with your children that in honoring your daughter's memory, in the process, they could also lose you? By that, I mean, Mom, we are still here. We are still alive. We are still loving you. We are still hugging you. But your emotional resources and your grief is taking you away from us.
Yes, there was. And they also felt that I was in my grieving at one time I neglected them. And remember, I also had my grandsons who were left by my daughter. And so yes, at one time I think I also neglected on my other children, the two, my daughter and my son. I neglected them because I was more just thinking about my loss and nothing else. Yeah.
And did you ever seek counseling, therapy, or for you, faith and that community was what kept you anchored in the midst of the storm?
Yeah, I think the community and even my siblings again, they were there for me. And also I had quite a number of my church ladies who were there for me, which includes this other pastor. It's called Pastor Nana. She's Ghanaian. They were really there for me, and they gave me, they supported me a lot.
They supported you now.
Yes, they really supported me, and also I had some aunties as well from even one of my auntie from my dad's side. Oh, she was always there. She would always come home. Yes.
You know what? I find it fascinating, and today I've consciously geared this conversation selfishly because whether you like it or not, we are going to have another conversation. So that's why I'm not asking you the big questions about. Oftentimes, we look at people and what we see is the businesses that Miss Atkins has. We see the cars, we see the travel tickets, we see empires she's building. But from listening to your story today, behind that facade, there is a woman who is a wife, who has lost a husband, who has gotten divorced, who has children, who has grandchildren without a mother. Based on this, what is your message to society in terms of leading with compassion or not knowing other people's story, therefore trying to be kind whenever you can? And I really want you to, I know with the passing of your daughter, it was a seminal moment because you ended up honoring her memory in other ways by creating philanthropic organizations that focus on a specific issue. Can you kindly speak to that? First of all, the need for compassion and leading with compassion, because you do not know what our heroes are facing, but also how to honor people who might not be here with us.
Yeah, I think when it comes to compassion, when things like this happen, and I thank God because you'd find my son-in-law, he moved in to live with us, with with the grandchildren, because for him he was so broken, and I thank God that he at that time he actually moved in, so we were all together, and sometimes you'd find people should be very mindful of what they say, in all this when you are grieving. people, they have lots of sayings which they say, and they don't know whether what they are saying, is it hurtful or is it because on their side maybe they'll be thinking, oh, they are being compassionate, but on the other side, to the person who is grieving, will be thinking, oh, why are they saying this? Things like, oh, we should do, when even when we are grieving, we should know that, all of us, we are going to die. Those things, those sayings, because this is what the Bible says, we are all going to die. So we should do, it's only reminding us that, this is the way everybody's going. As much as people, they say those things, it's not easy when you are grieving. And things like, oh, the father died when he was young, and she also died when she's very young. Things like that. You're thinking, so what are you trying to say?
And in those interactions, what is going on in your mind and in your spirit? Is it anger? Is it remorse? Does it sink you deeper into this abyss of sorrow, or what is going on in your mind when what is supposed to communicate compassion, what it's actually doing is just slicing your wounds even further? What is going on in your spirit and in your mind?
I think in my spirit, what was going on was, you are not being empathetic, because it's only maybe when you also wear the same shoe, that's when you only know how tight it is and how loose it is. So if you have, so maybe you should just keep quiet. But I thank God, because at that time you'd find, I was also very prayerful, and you just pray, you say, Lord, let it be.
Let it be.
Yeah, let it be. And you'd find, some people, because my daughter, she was epileptic.
Okay.
That's another thing. And I remember there's another pastor who came and said, oh, these are evil spirits. And saying the dying and the evil spirits of being epileptic, it could be the cause. And I'm thinking, epilepsy is just an illness. So you see, these are some of the things people would just comment, and they'll say, oh, maybe, she needed deliverance. And I'm thinking, what deliverance?
You don't know the relationship with the relationship I have with God. Or
Yes. So you can't tell me, because she was epileptic and so maybe she needed deliverance. So the father died, but she was not epileptic.
Oma, I think it's so, and maybe it's the nature of this conversation. And today, I did not tell you this, but we had a conversation with your daughter, and she was insistent that it's so important that people get to see a side of my mom that is often not public, because she's a strong woman, she's a matriarch, she's a giver, but hopefully by people saying this, we can see our heroes also hurt and they're also human. But I don't want to end this conversation with loss. I want to end this conversation, and we are going to talk about your biography at a later stage. This woman who is a gold exporter, who is building resorts, who has businesses in London, there is that woman. And one day we'll have a conversation about how do you build that. But can you now tell me, and I want us to end on this kind of almost an audacity of hope, that in spite of the loss, in spite of having an intimate relationship with grief, you find a way to honor your daughter's memory by getting her to live her life through other people who you end up reaching. Can you tell me about the foundation and what it is that you're doing with people who might be afflicted with the disease your daughter had?
My daughter wanted to start it, and she wanted to start it in Zimbabwe. But when she wanted to start it in Zimbabwe, she couldn't find a way to do it. But because she was married to a Ghanaian, so she now said, "Oh, mom, I'm going to start it in Ghana," because it seems people, they don't understand about epilepsy, and a lot of people, they associate it with the evil spirits and all that. So I would want to start it, but so she had just started. She did I think she just wrote something on the internet about it, but then she died. So when I came to Ghana, now it was now 2022. No, 2020, that's when I came to Ghana. And I just said, I would start this. I would want to start, to take this legacy from my daughter because she wanted to do it. I would do it in Ghana. I'll find out how I can do it. But I had not started it. Then in 2022, I went to Makola. When I went to Makola, this man who was carrying I don't know what you call them. As we in my country we call them, those big dishes, metal ones.
Okay. I have
He was selling water. He was selling water in sachet water.
Yeah.
He had a seizure. Everybody ran away, left him on his own. People took away things around him. Whatever was there around him, they took their things away and left him. And there I was. I was with my daughter. I was with my nieces who had come from America, and I had so me knowing about epilepsy and what people think about epilepsy. I now went to this man. So we helped him. We even asked the lady who was is selling on the market if we could use she had a cloth. We asked it for the cloth for us to put under the man's head. She said no. So in the end, we had I can't remember, one of us had the cardigan. We took the cardigan, we put it under her head, under his head. So we helped the man until the man, recovered now. Then I asked him, so what are you, so all the water, all the sachets were broken, some were not. So he was now worried because he said he was selling the water for somebody. He gets commission on every sachet. And he was now thinking, how am I going to go back to this woman? Because the woman will not understand it. He would want his money. So he told me that he had, he started having these seizures about 3 months ago. He was staying with some friends, but they've asked him to leave because they didn't want to be part of these evil spirits. So he didn't have any way to leave. He was now trying to raise some money for himself to go to the village, because when he contacted his family, they said he should come back because these are evil spirits. They needed to do whatever rituals for him not to have this epilepsy. So I now say to him, okay, let's do it this way. You need to go to the hospital. I'll pay for the bills. So we took his number and we now sent him to the hospital. although he now said he would rather go to the village first. So we gave him money, including,
They've lost income for them.
my nieces whom I had around, who had come from America, and my daughter was there as well. So we gave him money, and we went to the lady. We paid her money for the sachets and everything. So we paid the money. So he went to the village after 1 week. He went to his village. So we ended up communicating with him. Although the family, they were so adamant, they said, no, this is not a medical issue. So they refused to take him to the hospital. They said it was some evil spirit. So they refused completely.
Are you serious?
To get him, treated and to have a proper assessment at the hospital. They refused.
Wow.
And the unfortunate part of it was he could not speak English. So I could only talk to him through the cousin.
Who was part of that whole...
Who was part of all the family saying, oh, no, it's not like that. So then I continued trying to get, how I could support. It was so difficult getting, a direction of how I could get, some help where I could get maybe somebody who can direct me to get a group of people who are epileptic to support them. I couldn't get it. Because every time when you get people, what they were interested was, you give us the money, then we go and do it, things like that. And I was saying, no, that's not what I want. I don't want to give any. I want to meet the patients themselves. Then in the end, I got this chief in a village named Mankisin, Central Region. And he said, we've got a hospital here. So I went to that hospital. The hospital, they don't have a lot of, they needed a lot of help there. So they have got patients there, more than 30 patients. And
all epileptic.
Epileptic and mental health. Because sometimes some of them, they are, learning disability, mental health, epileptic. So we, so they told the nurses, they told me, most of them, they die, they don't have money for medication and all that. So from then on, we just put ourselves in there. So we provide medication for them.
Wow.
For the patients there. Yeah, they are over, I think they are over 30. Yeah. So we provide medication. So what they do is they give them the medication, and they've got a pharmacy which they use. So I just pay medication for 3 months. Every 3 months, I pay their medication and it's delivered, and that's it for the patients there. Although we now work a lot, and you'd find it's so sad because you'd find some of the patients there, they 13 years old, 14 years old, they are raped, they are pregnant. Like last time, just 2 months ago when I went, only to find out 3 of them, they are pregnant, they were raped. But because of their mental health, they don't even know who raped them, whether it's gang rape, whether it's single rape, nobody knows. But they are pregnant, they are there. So it's really sad.
I give you an opportunity to finish this on a high note, but I think today, we'll stay there. I will say this. Oftentimes, we hear people's children being burdened by living the dreams of their fathers or the dreams of their mothers. You have taken on a different burden, living the dreams of your daughter.
Yeah.
And I would say this, from the conversation today, I think you're doing an excellent job. And your daughter will be really, really proud of the mother who is continuing her legacy.
Yeah.
Selfishly, I'll end the conversation here because I want you to feel that this story is incomplete and we have not done justice.
Yeah.
So it will become an excuse for us to do part two.
Yeah.
Miss Etin, thank you so much for your generosity, for your time, and for allowing yourself to be vulnerable so others can learn through you. Thank you.
And thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. And I really appreciate. And just to say, I also want to thank my daughter Daniela because I work with her, for this foundation. Because she's a qualified nurse herself as well, and so she also help a lot as well. Yeah. So thank you so much for inviting us. I'm
Thank
really
you.
grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, ma.